So, did you see Suicide Squad?
I saw it Sunday.
Saw it Sunday?
With a bunch of coworkers.
And your thoughts? Hopefully by the time this airs, it won't be any...
yeah, like 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Well, that was a contemporary film at the time.
Classic.
Oh. It's like a fistful of... I almost said fistful of frags, but fistful of dollars. There we go. Holy crap. It was alright. I don't mean alright as in I mean, it was alright. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the film-going experience. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate what they're trying to do, trying to create the unified, DC.
Oh, yeah.
And my favorite scenes were Batman and the Joker.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was great.
Yeah. Well, and I don't want to give anything away, but there's also another hero that they introduce in this movie that captures a bad guy that I thought was fantastic because I had no clue that was going to happen. So that surprised the heck out of me. I enjoyed that. I feel like they took a lot of the notes out of Marvel's playbook. Mm-hmm. First off, the previews were very misleading. The previews were extremely misleading.
Yes.
Like there was a lot of things that were in the previews that weren't even in the movie, and I thought that was fantastic. That was a great way to do things.
Yeah, they changed it. They actually, I noticed one specifically with the preview. I thought it was like some RN or somebody that he was like, "I'm gonna hurt ya."
Yeah.
And they showed like some dude.
Yeah.
But that was totally different.
Yeah, exactly. Who he actually ends up hurting is a totally different person. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the fact that the person that was the bad guy was something that I was not expecting, but I will say that was my least favorite part of the movie. I felt the bad guy was left me wanting. The bad guy was nobody that had any kind of charisma. There was no real flair, and I get that maybe they did that so that it wouldn't take away from the fact that you've got a bunch of other villains that have charisma and flair working together. But I felt like the people they were fighting were anonymous automatons. I don't know how you say it properly.
They were the putties from Power Ranger. They were just the nameless bad guys. Because here's the thing. They're already villains. You already know the history of what all of these guys did. They're a-holes, right? Yeah. You can't really make them, you're really trying to make them an anti-hero. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, you got to have some zombie-type bad guy for them to be dispatching so you don't actually hate them more.
I get that. I do get that. But I just felt like it was just...
there was no meaning to it.
Yeah, and again, the main bad guys that they were fighting, they were lackluster at best. But I was surprised to find out who the bad guy was, because they were very misleading on that, which was fantastic. So,
I'm going to avoid the spoilers. Mm-hmm. But my issue is...
Makes it more difficult.
Yeah. My issue is, and everyone should have seen the Iron Man, Captain America, Avengers movies by now. Yeah. If you haven't, then it's your own fault.
Yeah. I don't even know why you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
You haven't seen those.
No. But my issue is there have been several of these movies that have come out, and I know I mentioned this before, that the bad guy was of the hero crew and or... was a member of the hero crew. Mm-hmm. And this trope that they seem to keep doing over and over again, it to me, it's starting to wear thin because they've done it in damn near every single Iron Man movie at this point. I mean, every single one has been a result of Tony Stark's faux pas or something.
Especially when the suits themselves became the bad guys.
Like, well, the suits are the bad guys now. Woohoo! Like, there's no substance there for me. In Civil War, it was one douchey guy. Mm-hmm. Like, that was it. He was the bad guy. He was the one that orchestrated this whole thing. Yeah. No criminal organization. Mm-hmm. No more I almost called him Harm. Oh my god. Hydra. There we go. Yep. The H is what got me. No more Hydra. It was just this one dude. Yep.
So now what I'm going to love about this podcast is people listening, and when we get to that point where we have a brain fart, they're going to be like, it's friggin' Hydra! What's wrong with you?
What's Harm? What do you watch? Dumb 80s shows? What the hell? That's the name of a dumb 80s show bad guy group.
But now I can say that Margot Robbie killed it as Harley Quinn. I thought she was fantastic. I thought the gentleman that played Captain Boomerang was fantastic.
Yes.
And of course Will Smith I thought was fantastic Deadshot.
Not Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
That guy that was Captain Boomerang?
Yeah, he wasn't Tom Hardy.
That's his name. He was not Tom Hardy. I don't remember his name, but that's how I remember him.
But I thought Will Smith did a fantastic job. He brought Deadshot to life in a great way, and all those characters were true to themselves, except, in my opinion, Killer Croc, was this obnoxious, I don't know. Like, he was just this obnoxious hip hop personality.
Yeah.
You know, and that it didn't bother me in that sense, except for the fact that he was just really obnoxious. Like the one thing that he wants is BET, like that kind of stuff. I'm like,
there could have been more substance other than he was just kind of a brick wall to throw stuff up against.
He didn't talk a lot, and the movie wasn't as funny as I thought it was gonna be. Like I know that this is gonna sound horrible, but I know that if Marvel had done this movie, I would have been laughing my ass off probably from beginning to the end. And I think that in the commercials, the previews, they kind of set you up like there's gonna be a lot of laughter. You know? And I felt that there were parts where I cracked up, but
it was sold as a comedy.
Exactly. But when I saw it, I was like, okay, so we're going a little, not so much darker, but just a little more serious. Okay, I get that. Now Jared Leto. People I've talked to about Jared Leto in this movie has been very polarized. You know, some people hated him, some people loved him. Me personally, I enjoyed him. But people, if you haven't seen the movie yet, you have to understand that when you see Suicide Squad, it's not the Joker movie, and I think that's where people are having problems, and that's again because of the misleading previews. I think people are, going to see the movie thinking that Jared Leto is going to be all throughout the movie. He has a, kind of a pivotal role in the movie, I would say, but it's not the movie about the Joker. So you're not going to get that performance that you got from like a Heath Ledger or, who
had a lot
Jack
of time
Nicholson,
to be in the role.
Exactly. They were the bad guy. They were the main bad guy. So that's who you focused on. Here you've got somebody who, in my opinion, I thought he did a fantastic job for the time that he was on screen. Yeah. He was.
Oh, that's the one problem I've had a lot of people say, like, "Oh, it wasn't enough."
Yeah, but see now I think that was a good thing on DC's part because you want to leave people wanting more.
Well, do you wonder? I wonder if this was a kind of a taste test to see if like maybe they figure, well, we don't want to throw just a new character. People liked Batman, Ben Affleck redeemed himself.
Yeah,
from
that movie wasn't very good.
Daredevil.
Ben Affleck killed it in that movie.
I actually I was totally like, this is gonna be awful. Daredevil was awful.
See, I gave him the benefit of the doubt because you know what? People were saying the same crap about Michael Keaton. People were like, Michael Keaton as Batman? Are you kidding me? Like, are you serious?
But he's such a method actor, though. I don't know if you ever saw The Merry Gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. That movie. Oh, that killed it. He killed it.
Michael Keaton is a fantastic actor to begin with,
Yeah.
But Ben Affleck, I've seen Ben Affleck in roles where I've been like, okay, I can see, maybe he could play Batman, and then he took the Batman role so seriously in Superman versus Batman, or Batman versus Superman, either way, that I honestly I fell in love with his Batman.
Well, I think his benefit was that he focused on Bruce Wayne. He tackled it from Bruce Wayne as Batman, and Christian Bale's evolution, although entertaining, I don't I was mad at first. I'm like, oh, that should be Christian Bale. I think it's okay. There we go. Yeah, sorry. We had a dog incident. All right, so I was complaining about dog-related incident.
Get ready to hear the dog-related incident podcast.
So this is what happened. So I was bitching about Christian Bale and how kind of he turned out to be a little whiny, and Ben Affleck.
And the lisp. Like I know it's a horrible thing, because I'm a huge fan of Christian Bale and everything else but Batman. Yeah. But I don't, and I know it's douchey to say, but it's like my Batman doesn't have a lisp. He's not like Bruce Wayne, like walking around like, "Hey, ladies." So
I don't know. He just, I don't get me wrong. I like that trilogy. I do. I just after seeing Ben Affleck, I'm like, he's such a Bruce Wayne. Christian Bale was a Batman.
I said the same thing to my girlfriend. I was like, could you imagine if you had Ben Affleck's Batman in those Dark Knight movies? Like, that would have been ridiculous. Like, him versus Heath Ledger's Joker. Yeah. People would have,
because he, to me, has that brick shithouse physique. Yeah. Like, he did a hell of an effort getting buff for that movie.
He's also tall. Yeah. Batman's tall. Batman and Superman in the comic books are the same height. He's damn near close. That's why every time you see them, together, unless Batman's doing his like crouching thing or whatever, when they stand up and they look like face to face, like because they're both like supposed to be like 6'6" or some kind of crazy comic book fantasy thing like that, like 8'12", whatever.
Like 340 pounds of raw,
just raw, unadulterated muscle on muscle. Yeah, but so I don't know. So I'm really excited to see where the next evolution of Ben Affleck's
They
Batman
got to drop a standalone Batman now.
Yeah, well, they've got to. He's talking about if they don't want to do it, he's willing to fund his own like standalone Batman. Money. And he's talking about doing it in like Arkham and things like that, But I cannot wait to see him with Jared Leto's Joker kind of go toe to toe. Like, I wasn't a big fan of the whole Joker being a gangster thing at first,
But it makes sense.
It does make sense, especially when you read the comic books. If you think about it.
Well, wasn't there someone, maybe it was you, telling me that there was a period where Joker was considered like a smooth gangster?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when Joker first came out, that's exactly basically what he was. I mean, now we don't. That's the cool thing about DC is that there is no accurate actual history for the Joker. Like nobody knows Joker's actual history. Even Joker himself has said on more than one occasion that he can't remember his own past.
I've read that on Wikipedia. Like I said, I look up Wikipedia when I don't know things.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there and change that for you. Just see.
Yeah.
What? Put Joker's complete history and all right, so Joker.
Well, let's see. He was fought in World War II.
Because there's been it's been alluded that he was the Red Hood, and then that was disputed. Then it was like he was in the circus or he was a failed comedian or blah blah, blah, like all these different things, But no matter what, he's always a gangster. But that's honestly like all of Batman's main villains for the most part are some kind of gangster
organized crime. Yeah,
the Penguin, the Riddler. They've all got henchmen. They've all got gangs. They've all got all that stuff.
Danny DeVito. So. I cried, and I probably would cry to this day at that scene where he's in the sewer, dying or dead, and all the penguins give him the little burial at sea, little Viking send off. I'm like that. I don't know why that's so heartbreaking to me.
The occasion, of course,
because he's such a tragic character.
Yes,
he was just considered an awful monster, and was always treated that way, and then tried to rise to greatness as a villain.
I don't want to put my foot in my mouth as far as this is concerned, but I think that before the Tim Burton treatment of the Penguin, I don't think we had that kind of emotional bond with the Penguin. Where
he was a douchey guy and a rich dude in an overcoat. I'm Dick Cheney.
But I think that I'm not, again, I'm not 100% on this because I was a kid, back when that movie came out, and I was just getting into Batman back then and stuff like that. But I don't think there was the tragic kind of history of the Penguin kind of being abandoned, as a kid, which you found out, probably sometime in the 80s and stuff like that. But I don't think that he was treated like that, where he had that real emotional bond with the audience until after the Tim Burton movies, and then later in the comic books it became more affluent. You can even read now whenever they talk about the Penguin, it goes back to that kind of stuff and his abandonment and that kind of issue that he has. But and then, not to get way off subject, but I mean let's talk about, if we're gonna talk about the Penguin, we gotta talk about Gotham and the Penguin in Gotham. I mean, the show Gotham. Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to. Don't. The gears are turning.
Yeah, that's right.
I've seen parts of the first season, but I'm okay. So The Walking Dead killed it for me. I can't watch a serialized show. Mm-hmm. I cannot handle that cliffhanger episode that every show does now. Mm-hmm. So with Gotham, I was like, this is going to get 5 seasons in, and then I'll start watching it. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do it.
So you're going to binge it one day.
I'm going to binge it, but I've seen Penguin, and I like his little insidiousness.
Oh, his character in that show is fantastic. That is something that you need to get on that bandwagon. Get over this whole cliffhanger thing, because it's going to happen no matter what. You'll just go from one cliffhanger to the next. This last season of The Walking Dead, pissed most of us off, and now we're all waiting.
Everyone was so mad, and I'm just like, I have no idea because I'm not watching it. I'm happy with life right now.
Yeah, well,
look at J.J. Abrams. Mm-hmm. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he did Star Trek and he did Star Wars, right? Yes. Yeah. So that right there brings the two worlds together. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't end the rivalry.
In the very first Star Trek movie that he did, if you watch it, and I know this is getting real nerd, but I'm sure there's a lot of people out there.
The little teasers where you see the debris in the background.
R2-D2 comes out, goes flying out. Yeah. So I mean, he was on his way to doing these things, you know. So, but yeah, I like that. I like the fact that our nerddoms, can kind of
they don't have to be mutually exclusive.
Exactly.
And I like how it's taking that turn, and I think that the conventions going mainstream have something to do with that, because if you look at the Xbox versus PlayStation, Super Nintendo versus Sega Genesis.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what happens when you polarize the market.
Yes.
Nothing good. You lose money. Look at how that business model has changed over the years.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have people going, your actors and your people participating in these productions, going to these conventions, why would you want people to be like, oh, I'm not going to go there. David Ayers is there. Or, oh, Stan Lee is there. And I'm strictly a DC guy.
See, I don't think anybody's strictly anything anymore. That's fantastic. Like, I know that growing up, for me especially, I think I'm a little bit older than you. Growing up back in the day, actually, we had this conversation about how you had a friend that had
Brandon Libby, and I don't mind saying his name because
he's a douche. No,
I
don't know.
He actually ended up being a doctor, I think. So the dude absolutely.
So you should probably put doctor on the front of that.
Doctor, and as far as I know, the guy turned out fantastic. But when we were in school, he had a Mac, and I hated him for it. Mm-hmm. And if he ever hears this, I love you. Glad you became a doctor.
Yeah.
But
hope you got rid of your Mac.
Yeah. Hope you got rid of that Mac. But it's just stuff like that where you could just
if you're listening on a Mac right now too, I don't have a problem with Macs. Just so you know, it's not me.
They're
the
really
Merce
stable.
The Merce is okay with Macs.
They're really stable now. I'm over it.
You can watch your porn, not get hacked as easily.
Like, there's a list of benefits you got to look up. But there's that polarizing factor that used to happen, and I think a lot of it had to do with how marketing's changed.
Super Nintendo and Genesis.
Yes.
Back in the day, Super Nintendo and Genesis were rivals.
Yes.
I mean, and I don't remember, because I was young again, but I don't remember if it's the actual companies that turned it that way, or if it was just us kids in the street. Like, oh, what do you have? You have a Super Nintendo? What the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, that's all baby games and stuff like that. Like, get on this game, where you can play, like, Fatal Fury and things like that, like... Why are you, what are you going to play, like, Super Mario World, 4 or 5 or 8 or,
Super Mario World 3 is
I know it's a fantastic game.
It stands up well to the test of time.
Please understand that I'm a very sarcastic person. But, yeah, so, and it was the same way with DC and Marvel. Like, for the longest time, when I was growing up, I was a huge Marvel fan. I was the X-Men fanboy, like you would not believe.
Well, you could either like the X-Men or, something.
Or go to hell, yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
you can't like both.
But that's the thing, is like, I wasn't a huge DC fan, and when I did read some DC, it was like on the sly, like I didn't let my friends know, because we were all Marvel, we were like a Marvel clan.
You had a secret life. You had a secret DC life.
We used to like walk through the halls, like snapping our fingers, like Marvel for life, that kind of stuff. And if we saw some DC
the pocket combs, you would flip them out. And...
Yeah, if we saw some DC fans, then we'd have a nerd off. I mean, we wouldn't actually fight, but we would just like state facts and stuff like that. Yeah, like
the Batman could kill. I can't even. I'm having a total brain.
Wolverine would track down and kill Batman in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, stuff like that. I almost said Batman could kill Superman. I'm like, well, wait a minute, didn't we just settle that argument? Like,
that could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's great to see, and that's kind of not to get kind of. Preachy or anything like that, but that's kind of the reason that I started the NuB, the Nerds United Brevard. That's kind of the reason that we're now doing this podcast, and that's kind of the reason that we're that we're hopefully going to expand into other areas and stuff. So please stay tuned. But it's
some
really,
great things planned.
Exactly. It really comes down to, I'm the kind of person who, I love nerd culture, as it were. Quote unquote nerd, geek, whatever the case may be is. And I personally am into a lot of different things, and I love to be introduced to other things I wasn't into. Like when me and my girlfriend got together, I was not a big anime manga fan. I liked anime from back in the 80s and 90s, which is nothing like today's, like what the people were watching today.
The high school animes.
Yeah, like I
flood the market.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was a Vampire Hunter D fan. I was a 3x3 Eyes fan.
Trigun.
Well, I didn't really watch Trigun until recently.
Okay.
But my girl got me like kind of watching some other stuff now. Attack on Titan, one of my absolute favorites now. But I also do find that I'm more manga than I am anime. Like I can't stand like the voices a lot of times, so I can read the mangas and I enjoy the hell out of those. So, but she introduced me to that, so now it's like one more thing that's nerdy that I'm really into. And now, granted, that hurts my wallet even more, but
it's expensive. I remember, oh man, we would come down on these grandiose trips to Florida, right on vacation. Now, mind you, we lived in Maine, so this is not a short trek.
Yeah,
we would go down, and my entire trip with my brother. Our whole trip would be going to Virgin Records because they had an anime section.
Nice.
And oh man, and funny thing is that somehow bridged me into Hong Kong action films, like directed by John Woo, starring Chow Yun-fat.
That's not
that
too
entire
far
rack nearly
Now, those of you that can't see, he's pointing
movies.
at a rack of DVDs.
That is behind a bucket of Nerf guns and a guitar.
Yes.
But I've got, The Killer is one Chow Yun-Fat movie. A Better Tomorrow 1 and 2. One of these online games I played was kind of the theme.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, these films sound amazing.
Well, and when you think about it too, like it's not like from the animes that I used to watch and probably used to watch back in the day. They were a lot bloodier, a lot darker, a lot.
Yeah.
So that's not too
violent.
far a jump into like the John Woo and the Chow Yun-Fat
the films
kind of
that
movies.
and I think the genre, I don't, maybe this is what we've always called it on the internet forums I was on, but Hong Kong blood operas is what the genre, as my understanding,
it just sounds cooler that way.
It just sounds
opera,
cool,
like rock opera.
Yeah, Hong Kong blood opera. And if you watch it, there's a shit ton of blood.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hard Boiled, I still maintain is one of the greatest action films to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Is Chow Yun-Fat's finest film. But in it, there's like a 10-minute, completely uncut shootout with Tony Leung and Chow Yun-Fat.
Yeah.
One camera shot through the whole thing.
Oh, wow.
They absolutely kill it.
That's
fantastic. It is an awesome scene. And they had to redo the shoot, multiple times and whatnot. And I watched the director's commentary. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But it's stuff like that just absolutely makes something timeless. Because the only other one I could think of is Tony Jaa did it, and Jean-Claude Van Damme did it. And those like long, difficult streaming cuts, that's such an accomplishment to me because everything goes right.
It's so much skill, so much art.
And it's no computer graphics. Yeah. That was all them. JCVD, that whole opening scene is all him just being badass.
That is fantastic.
And it's so great.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, like you just talking about that just now. Like I've watched Hard Boiled. I love that movie. There's a lot of Black Mask and things like that. There's a lot of those kind of movies I've liked and I've really enjoyed. But you talking about it like that makes me want to even go out and see more of them. Like I've seen like The Replacement Killers and things like that.
And oddly, not one of his most well-liked films, but Antoine Fuqua, I think, directed it. I thought he did a fine job. The opening scene to that movie where Chow Yun-Fat walks over, puts the marked bullet in front, and the marked bullet, that's a whole like other thing. That he puts it down in front of the guy, and then the guy goes, "Oh no!" and then completely dispatches all of his goons and him, and then disappears. That set the tone for the movie. There was, and I have a big issue with exposition, but there was no exposition needed. Yeah. You knew, well, John Lee. He's a badass. Yeah. And then you have the American films. Jack Reacher, for example. And I probably bitched about this before. But the first 15 minutes of Jack Reacher is them talking about how badass Jack Reacher is. And that killed it for me.
It did. Yeah, it brought the whole movie down. Although, now, when that's done right, case in point, we like Desperado.
Okay.
When they're talking about the giant Mexican, mariachi, and they're telling the story, and they've got that huge Mexican guy. I can't remember his name, but he was also in The Replacements and things like that. I think it was The Replacements, but no, not The Replacements. He was in The Longest Yard, something like that. Oh. But that whole scene where he's giving this explanation to everybody about how he saw this Mexican come into a bar and destroy the whole place and yada yada. Like, that was fantastic, especially when you go from this huge, giant Mexican guy to Antonio Banderas.
Yeah. No, see, but that's an example of a good use.
Yes.
Exposition isn't necessarily always bad, but I just would prefer it be used sparingly.
Yeah. But see, like I was saying though, this is a great time to be into these things, into nerd culture, because it's like everybody's excited about it. Everybody wants to share it with you. And I never in my wildest dreams believed that I would be able to, walk into pretty much anywhere in the world. Well, okay, that's probably a bit of an over exaggeration, but anywhere in America, pretty much.
Okay.
And go, hey, do you know?
That might be a bit of an exaggeration. Also, I don't know, because there's some pretty.
Hear me out. Go anywhere in America and be like, hey, so. What about Wolverine, huh? And then, like,
that last one was good, but, the second one with Deadpool was crap. Like, they'll have
everybody will have something to say about it, like, I love Hugh Jackman, or yada, yada, yada. Like, somebody will know something about Wolverine.
Schreiber? What's his name?
Oh, Sabretooth, yeah.
Leb Schreiber. I like him.
Yes.
He's the type of guy... I would like to have a conversation with him, and maybe
I just wouldn't want to piss him off, though.
He seems like a big guy, But I just all the movies he's in and everything he acts, he seems like an interesting person.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I'll see an actor and I'm like, that guy, he seems like an interesting person. Like he did the Hulk, not the Hulk remake, but Edward Norton.
Yes.
Edward Norton, very intelligent guy.
Edward Norton, I would love to hang out with.
I'd love to.
Have you ever played that? What do they call it? Like
Kidnap a Celebrity?
Yeah, well, I mean,
well, I don't know.
I'm down with that. Are we planning this, or we probably shouldn't do that on the podcast?
No,
I'm sure, but
that's for after.
Yes. No, but I'm just saying there's something like who would you want to come to dinner, basically, like for one night, and you pick like 5 celebrities or 5 anybody, living, dead, whatever the case may be, you know. Edward Norton has always ended up on that list for me. It's like him, Kevin Smith, Stan Lee. There's a few others, that kind of interchange outside of that, that I would just love to, have at dinner one time and sit down and just BS, like have a couple drinks, eat some, ramen noodles or something, fancy like that, cup of soup, all that good stuff. But have you ever played that with some friends? Like, have you ever been like, oh yeah, I'd like to. Or is that just like an old man game?
That's probably an old man game, to be honest. I've had the hypotheticals.
36 years old, folks.
I've had the hypotheticals of, oh man, who would you want to meet, or the infamous F, Marry, Kill, and all those list types of games. But no, never had to consider that.
Another thing that came out recently that dropped on Netflix, because Netflix is just killing the game lately when it comes to anything
good content.
Yeah, pretty much. Stranger Things.
Yes.
Have
oh my God.
This?
So, you know what? I'm sorry.
Did you enjoy this?
Yes. I'm going to invoke spoilers here. Okay.
So stop now if you haven't watched Stranger Things yet. This is probably going to come out in September though, so if you haven't watched Stranger Things by now,
this is your fault.
Yeah, it's on you.
You did this.
All right, go ahead.
So I spent the better part, because we watched it spaced over like a week.
Yeah.
Okay. I spent the better part.
You have better self-control than I do. I watched it spaced over 2 days.
Well, there was drinking involved, and there was,
So you had to rewatch a couple episodes. Yeah.
More just, sleep and long work hours and whatnot. Yeah. And my whole thing was, I tried my damnedest to come up with a theory on how to kill the damn thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so we know that he's a plane walker. Mm-hmm. Okay, he can jump between dimensions relatively easy. Tear through your wallpaper, and then look at that, it just pops back to normal. Yeah. So, using my expansive knowledge of crazy people things, because I listen to a lot of paranormal stuff, Coast to Coast AM, and all the wonderful topics that happened on there, I thought, wow, you got to find a way to anchor him into this dimension.
Okay.
And people talk about the power of crystals all the time.
I thought you were about to say the power of Christ. I was
the power of Christ I don't think would work.
Yeah.
I think it would just mildly irritate him that you were talking to it.
Yes.
But I thought, you got to find a way to anchor it here. And I remember one fellow who said that he had invented a battery that was made of a special type of crystal that vibrated on the background radiation of the universe and never ran out of energy. Yeah. Now, that's just, to me, I mean, it was like, it doesn't break the thermodynamics and perpetual motion. Oh, it's the greatest thing ever. And what?
In the trailer park, he's probably the
people probably
guy
think
there.
He's a genius. Yeah. And I know nothing about this stuff. I'm not a physicist, mathematician, nothing. It sounds interesting to the layperson. You'd be like, oh, this guy's an Einstein. But it sounds like bullshit. Okay, anybody that says free infinite energy, my bullshit meter comes out. So, but my thing was, okay, so, it's a little bit of a divergence on this show, monster jumping between dimensions, but let's go with it. Let's say that crystals have this innate power, in certain types of crystals even. You gotta have one of these crazy ladies with a crystal store, even in this bumfuck town in the 80s.
Oh yeah, well those are where you find. That's where you find most of those places. Like...
So you fashion some type of something. Okay, you make a spear with the crystal on it, right?
What's the purple store downtown Melbourne?
That is a.
What's the name of it? Something Energies or something like that.
Oh, I have no idea. The psychic.
Yeah,
I've no idea.
You gotta have one of those everywhere.
Yeah.
In America,
those have been around. I mean, you could even find a gypsy at this point. Yeah. But I thought the best way to get it. You make a tether it, okay? You make that crystal spear, okay? Tether it with a nice heavy chain, because obviously they know that bear trap did a good job. Oh, or even make a bear trap that's got the crystals in it, right?
Instead of teeth.
Now, here's the problem. This is going to take some experimentation. you have to then find a way to drain the energy out of it through the crystals. Mm-hmm. Okay, so now you got to find something that's going to tether that energy and ground it. Mm-hmm. So now he can't go anywhere. Like, I spent the week devising this in my head of how I was going to kill this thing.
You say you got to test this, right? So how many of these children are you willing to sacrifice? Like, you're not going to sacrifice the kid with no front teeth, right? Because that
well, he already kind of peed himself and got beat up, so whatever. But I'm just, all through the week, I'm thinking of this, racking my brain.
We gotta test this, all right. Timmy.
Yeah. Come here, cut your hand. I just gotta try this one more time. I'm gonna get this thing.
This is gonna happen.
But I was absolutely fascinated with the concept and the whole way the show was shot and cut and just every scene was a work of art.
It was a beautiful movie.
I loved it.
Well, for me, I grew up in the 80s, technically I grew up in the 80s. I was 10 in 1990. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So I was born in 1980, but I grew up in the 80s and 90s. Okay, let's put it that way. But I remember watching a lot of those movies in the 90s too, the 80s movies, and this show captured those movies so well. You've got the Goonies going on with the kids, you know, or Monster Squad even. If anybody out there knows Monster Squad, give yourself a high five. That's a fantastic movie. But you've got these great 80s kind of cheesy buddy movies with all these kids together, trying to stop some kind of thing that's too big for them to really handle, you know. And then you've got kind of the 80s horror film kind of thing going on, and there's all these great 80s references, and the soundtrack is just amazing. But you know why your theory was bothering you so much is you never really played D&D, did you?
No, I played it once, and when my friend admitted that he knew Orcish, mm-hmm. I was like, that's too much for me.
I'm done. Yeah.
And I'm done.
See, I don't know.
I play video games. That was it.
But here's the thing, if you were a D&D fan, as it were, watching that show, you would have been like, oh, just fireball his ass. Just fireball him. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, that's what they were discussing. They're like,
they set him on fire.
Fireball him. Ironically, that's what the brother and not girlfriend did.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to see next season. If there is going to be a next season. I mean, there's got to be a next season. There's got to be.
Right? It's that damn cliffhanger.
Yeah. The guy ends it with putting stuff in a box, for 11, and it's like, oh.
Well, she's clearly something's going on there.
Yeah, and how does he know about that? I don't. And that's the other thing I love too. This cop, you're a police officer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you just going to walk around town beating people up, trying to get answers and stuff like that? I mean, this guy lost his shit.
80s Chicago, or I'm assuming because it takes place in the 80s, so. Mm-hmm. He's a middle-aged guy, so he probably was a 70s Chicago cop.
Yeah, probably makes sense.
He probably busted his knuckles
a couple times. Yeah,
multiple gang members.
That's true. I grew up in the time where we started filming police officers and stuff like that, and changed the whole. I'm not getting into a political discussion about anything. So you like Stranger Things, is what you're saying?
Yes.
And if you haven't seen Stranger Things yet, and you're listening to this podcast, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Go out there and watch it. A couple more exciting things coming up. Obviously, Netflix is about to drop some more great things. We've got
Luke Cage.
Yes, yes. I'm very excited about this. The trailer just dropped recently. 2 trailers now, I think, since the San Diego Con. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it just looks like it's going to be great. If it's anywhere near as good as Daredevil and Jessica Jones, then it's.
I had a hard time. I will admit, with Jessica Jones.
All right, you know what? I'm done. I'm out.
No, it's just and my whole issue was, and I try not to do this, but the actress, I forget her name. I just for some reason, whatever show she was in, mm-hmm. The Bee in Apartment 23 or whatever.
Oh,
that stigma stuck.
See, I never really watched that show. But I watched Breaking Bad. And her character in Breaking Bad was, this druggy harlot,
Oh, that's right. She was, what's his name's
and she
girlfriend
dies,
for a little bit.
Spoiler alert, she dies. Oh, yeah. I really don't care if we spoil it for you. If you haven't seen a lot of this stuff, it's... Yeah. So, a different experience with the actress. But then, once I got through a couple of episodes, I was like, okay. All right, I'm over it. Mm-hmm. I needed to have that palate cleanser. Yeah,
that's hard to get over that.
My dad to this day has trouble watching anything with Anthony Hopkins in it because Silence of the Lambs disturbed him so badly.
Really? See, that's a different generation though. Mm-hmm. See, that's where it's very interesting to me, that generational exposure to certain media, because there's this thought experiment of what would happen if you took a violent television show mm-hmm. and took somebody from 1900s turn of the century America and showed them a TV show on this magic box. what would they think?
I mean, after they get over the shock of they're watching the magic box.
Yeah, okay.
You and then
remove that.
Then the whole cars and guns and things
sure,
like that.
Sure.
Okay.
So
we just get to the actual
violence
pure
and
violence.
mayhem.
All right, pure violence and mayhem.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 1900s.
They probably saw that on the streets
every
day.
Never
mind. That's a terrible comparison.
This reminds me of when my father killed Timmy after he
This
forgot
reminds me of yesterday when I walked out my front door and Bill the Butcher hacked people up, or I don't know.
I mean,
so okay, I don't. Maybe a bad comparison.
Maybe you need to go like the 50s, maybe or 60s. You know,
let's go 1800s. Let's just go straight up. No, the past is like horrible and bloody.
Indians are Indians are killing cowboys. Cowboys killing Indians. Like people just dropping people in the street.
Nothing's good.
Yeah.
Nothing's good.
That's the thing, is that we come from a sheltered generation. So now when we see the violence and stuff, it's like, oh my god,
that's terrible.
And actually, I should say in America, we come from a sheltered area, because I'm pretty sure there's still parts of the world where it's just like, oh yeah, that dude totally shot that guy in the face the other day. Like, yeah, it sucks.
Well, we dragged his body off into the body pile.
He owed me like $5. I was ticked off.
Boy, I could go off on a tirade about violence in third world countries. But
that's what I'm saying. Like in America, we live in a more which is a good thing. Like I don't want my son to be okay and all right with like just mindless violence. Like I don't want my son to like walk outside and be like, oh, that dude just got. But there,
you said it though, right there. There is a definite difference between the media that you're consuming on. It's fake. It's a show.
Yeah.
Opposed to I have been exposed over the years to violent games, violent movies, violent television. And yet, now
you're a violent killer, right? Like,
no,
in your spare time.
No, not at all. I'm not a hitman. Just the awful videos of people cutting off body parts and doing. I can't stomach that stuff. That's terrible. That's real. Yeah. I don't want to see that. That's terrible. Oh my god.
But you give me some like Freddy, versus Jason.
It's like it's catch up. That's fine. And there's something about that uncanniness that you can tell when it's a movie, but when it's real and I still to this day haven't seen that horrible video of the fellow getting his head, excised from his body.
Oh yeah, unfortunately I have seen some of that stuff.
I refuse to, because again, the number one rule of the internet is you cannot unsee something.
Exactly. That is very true. Those are words to live by. You cannot unsee something. Yeah. That's something that actually needs to come up as a warning every time you open your internet browser. Like the Pokemon Go thing.
Pokemon Go. Exactly. Don't trespass while playing Pokemon Go. Yeah. Hey, thanks, I forgot. The internet opens up Google Chrome. You cannot unsee Two Girls, One Cup. Remember that.
Yeah, you definitely can't unsee
that. I never saw it. I refuse.
You are a lucky man. I don't understand. See, I guess my friends are just worse than yours. Is what it is. Yeah, there's no way. We won't get into that.
It's fake.
We're trying to keep this podcast at least close to PG-13.
Yeah, it's fake.
So we won't get too far into it.
At least that's what I tell myself to get through every day. Because if that was true and real,
it's just horrible.
I don't know. Speaking of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, thank you. Good segue.
So I went to a pub crawl.
Yes.
A week or two ago.
Where was this at?
I wrote down in my notes Steampunk Bar.
Steampunk Bar.
But there is a bar in downtown Melbourne.
So if you are the Steampunk Bar in downtown Melbourne, contact us at...
It's downtown Melbourne Steampunk. I know it's going to pop up.
You can send the check for this advertisement to the NuB.
Your new steampunk night in Melbourne. You know what? It was a really cool place. I'll remember the name of it. Probably.
I'm sure that we'll get cussed out in comments and they'll tell us what the name of the place is. But
yeah.
So you went to the Steampunk Bar in Melbourne.
That's where the pub crawl started.
It started there. Okay.
All right. The people that set it up, incredibly friendly. Mm-hmm. I mean, very well organized. Mm-hmm. They had the times. They went from one bar to another, and the staff in the restaurant, they were super friendly about it. Mm-hmm. They were. It was very accommodating.
Were they placing lures and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, they would do lures at each location, and they had a little Pokeball hidden at the bar at every single stop, so you had to take a picture of it. At all five or 4 or 5 bars.
Was there like some kind of prize at the end or something? Or?
I'm sure. I was getting
too intoxicated by.
I had been awake probably over 24 hours at that point, so I needed to go to sleep.
I got a drunkosaur.
Yeah, at that point I was.
Drink at you.
Yeah, running off of I don't know what kind of fumes, but it was bad.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great time. Everybody was friendly, and you had that like unit cohesion. Like, everybody was part of the Pokemon pub crawl.
Yeah.
So people were like, everybody was getting friendly and chatting, and, I met a whole bunch of people, don't remember their names, so, hey, all you cool people that we drank with and played Pokemon,
they don't even know who you are. So
I don't even think I gave my name to anybody, to be honest.
You're just a man behind a microphone right now.
Well, yeah. Well, so we're sitting there, my girlfriend and I, and these people are talking to us, and they're introducing ourselves. Oh, hey, I'm June. Oh, hey, I'm Jerry. Oh, hey, good to meet you. Yeah. Like, I realized...
They all had J names. Though,
yeah, well, I'm not... in my example, I'm not good at being an adult. I'm just, I really don't... it's nice to meet you, but I'm not going to give you my name just yet. Yeah. Like, I have that paranoia. Like, I don't know. I'm a hermit.
Yeah. Like, give him, like, a fake name.
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is
Felton.
Francis.
Felton Hot Glue.
Hot friend. Yeah, there you
go.
See
if somebody like felt and is that a joke?
Yeah, is that dirty? I don't get that.
No, that's my name.
It's just my name on the podcast.
Yeah, no.
And also with your cosplay, which I mean, by all means, feel free to plug your cosplay.
Oh yeah, I have a cosplay page, Felton Hot Glue. I never update it, and I post my cosplay pictures there. So
if you guys are interested in seeing some very outdated cosplay pictures of Felton Hot Glue
every 6 months, woo!
Yeah,
it's great.
Maybe the next con, I don't know. Yeah. Speaking of cons and Pokemon Go, I went to Tampa Con.
Yes.
This weekend, this past weekend, and let me tell you, it is not MegaCon.
Okay.
And I didn't realize this before because you have to understand. Until me and my girlfriend got together, and I keep saying that so that people think I have a girlfriend. In reality, it's just myself. I actually don't have a girlfriend. But we actually go and do cons. Like we don't just go to cons now. We don't just go and like look at all the vendors and see what they have to sell. Like we actually go now and we go to panels. You know, we go and play games. Like we go and we really get into
experience
it. We get
the culture.
Yes, we just have a blast. And I'll get into MegaCon in a second. But at the Tampa Con, it honestly felt to me like it should have been like the Tampa Improv or something like that. Like most of the panels were like some kind of improv thing, where there was like an improv podcast or an improv show. Which, don't get me wrong, those are fun. They're funny, especially when they introduce the nerd culture into it and they make it kind of a good fun time. But I really wanted to see more of more panels about other parts of nerd culture. Like there were some about video games and things like that. We attended a couple of different different ones, but for the most part, I think because TampaCon had a lot of cancellations.
Oh, really?
It just kind of brought the whole thing down a little bit. For me and my girlfriend, if you went to TampaCon, you had a good time. I'm glad you did. I will go again next year.
Canceled?
Oh, I can't even get into the list. It was a long list.
Really?
Like they had like I think they had Ray from
Ray Romano. I'm sorry, she hates it when I do Ray Romano.
But they had a bunch of people from like Star Wars that canceled. They had people. From,
really?
Like a bunch of big name people they canceled.
Wow.
I mean, they still had the guy that plays Daryl Dixon. What's his name?
Norman
Reedus. He was still there, but it's almost like he's becoming just kind of. Like, you can pretty much see Norman Reedus anywhere now. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if next year...
He's outside.
Yeah, exactly.
He's selling lemonade. It's weird. I keep telling him.
But it still costs $50, though, to get his autograph.
First time he did it, I thought, oh, hey, I like Boondock Saints. And
exactly.
He's like, get out of here. I'm selling lemonade.
Exactly.
I'm going to charge you for a picture. The security guard's going to take your camera. I'm like, what? This is my front yard.
But... Got off on a tangent a little bit there for a second. What I was going to say about the Pokemon Go thing, though, is it was fantastic because there were so many people there.
Yes.
That increases the type of Pokemon, rare Pokemon. So I caught a lot of cool Pokemon while I was there, which was fantastic.
So it is population density.
That's what I'm finding because when I went to the Dice Tower Con, I go to a lot of cons, just so you guys know. When I went to the Dice Tower Con, which is a con for board games, and it's hosted and put on by the people who have a show on YouTube channel on YouTube called The Dice Tower, where it's a bunch of like board game news and current events and that kind of stuff and reviews and such. When I went there, that's when Pokemon Go dropped. It actually dropped while I was there for the weekend.
Everybody lost their minds.
Everybody lost their damn minds. Everybody lost their goddamn minds. But like I was catching Pokemon, I was surrounded by like 5-6 Pokemon at a time. Any given time I picked my phone up.
I wonder how much money they made that first day.
And I have no idea. Well, I didn't have to spend a dime because again, there was Pokestops like all over the place. Like it was just ridiculous. Then I get home. I get back here to Brevard, and it was dry. And I was like, what the hell? Like I almost gave up on Pokemon altogether because like I got from like level 1 to 12 in like 2 days, or maybe even higher than that in like 2 days, and now I'm barely level 20.
Yeah.
And it's been out for how long
I got
now?
to 13, and I've kind of tapered off there because I'm finding it hard to...
Well, when you have a job, when you've got, when you've got responsibilities and things like that, it becomes difficult to go out and walk around and collect Pokemon.
I do Golly Library.
But I will say, like, I love the whole Pokemon Go thing because, again, it ties into my whole thing with nerd culture. I love, the fact that that it's something that I can share with a bunch of other people. Mm-hmm. That's something fun and interesting. And I don't feel like there's a big stigma to it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who like go on Facebook and they put all these memes on.
Pokemon Go fuck yourself is what I keep seeing. That cracks me up.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that video of the guy?
Yeah, he's like ripped fella.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Pokemon, go down to the gym and get some gains.
You should get a Gainachu. Get a Pumpachu.
He's funny. That was hilarious. Funny. I enjoyed that.
But yeah, I just that's. The way that people react to Pokemon Go kind of sums up how nerd culture was all through us growing up. Yeah. And for a lot of you listening, I hope, that, I don't hope, I guess, but, it's one of those things where you grew up where being nerdy was a bad thing, like enjoying comic books and video games and things like that was something you had a few friends that were into the same thing, and then other people, who gave you a lot of shit about that.
Played sports.
Exactly, And it's cool now that I see people that are still playing sports, still going out and doing that kind of stuff, but they play video games, they go see comic book movies, they do this stuff.
Gotta play that Call of Duty.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's cool. So I like the Pokemon Go thing because I also feel like it's getting a lot of people out of the house now. That was one of my biggest issues. Is I haven't seen kids. I haven't seen kids out in the street while it's kids and middle-aged adults.
It's creating an interesting segue for people because I've noticed that. Like, for example, the Ugali Library. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the hotspot. Because there's like 10 or 5 or 6 spots down there.
I hear that's ridiculous.
And high population density because of the waterfront, the restaurant. Yeah. And there is just a ton of Pokemon in that area. Mm-hmm. And the people are catching Gyarados, Slowbros, Snorlax. I mean, I've seen some crazy photos that people have posted. Yeah. But my thing is, though, you have all these people walking around doing the same thing. You literally could strike up a conversation with any one of those people.
Absolutely.
And it's creating artificial town centers.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we're having some issues with people getting into cultural contention. Mm-hmm. There were some young men who were hanging out at a VA shrine. Mm-hmm. Is that what you would call it?
Something like that.
Yeah. And
monument,
monument. That's an even better. Yeah, that has a better ring to it.
Yeah,
the VA monument, and they set. Yeah, it sounds
worshiping
weird.
Something.
Yeah, but they set up tents and chairs, and some of the veterans were like, "No, that's not what this is for." And oh man, well, see, that's a difficult.
See, and that's the thing that annoys me because it annoys me that people would be upset about that because what's cool about the Pokemon Go thing is most of the Pokemon stops, most of the Pokestops are like historical places, or they're like some kind of monument, or a lot of grave sites, which is interesting, or weird, creepy. But like I don't understand why you don't catch a bunch of guests or something.
Would it be distasteful?
Why is there a Squirtle on this tombstone?
This is a graveyard. I want to catch some Ghastlies.
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's interesting because it's getting people out there. They're seeing areas they probably haven't seen in a long time. Mm. Like you're learning more about the places that you live. I don't know. I mean, there's negative to everything, of course.
Sure.
And so there's negatives to this too, I'm sure. And of course the news picks up any negative story they can.
They'll sensationalize and spin.
Some girl that got hit by a car when she was trying to collect Pokemon. No, she got hit by a car because she was an idiot. You don't just walk across the street without looking both ways on a busy highway because you're trying to catch whatever it is, like a rat-a-tat.
Gainchu. Gainchu.
Gainchu. A Pumpachu.
Pumpachu. Get your Pumpachu on. I guess my issue with it is I just wish that they had taken it a different route instead of, the men that were there, the veterans having issue with it. I just wish they had extended that olive branch and had
talked about
it and maybe even gotten involved with playing the Pokemon. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that they didn't have a right to be pissed, but they didn't. They
didn't have to go that far, but they could have been like, hey, why are you guys here? Oh, you're playing Pokemon? Well, did you know that this is
I would have liked to have seen the generations come together, but I will say after watching the video, the younger men were being indignant shits.
Were they?
They were being indignant shits.
That's
and
usually
if I were there, I would have.
That seems to be a big problem nowadays.
Yeah,
there's really no respect. But again, that's something, that'll get off on a tangent. That'll be a whole another podcast.
No respect.
No respect at all.
If I had a tie, I would adjust it.
So let's see, what other interesting things are there out there? Well, obviously, there's always news coming out for video games. What's coming out now?
Oh well, let me tell you the drama of the week.
Mm-hmm.
The squad that shall not be named, who's represented by those small furry dogs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Decided that they were going to attack Blizzard servers and shut down Overwatch.
All right.
So I come home from class last week, and I thought, I've had a long day, training. I'm gonna go and play some Overwatch. Get my McCree on. Tell people what time of day it is.
Yeah, relax after not shooting people all day, and come home and shoot people.
Yeah, let's play Overwatch. Yeah. And I log in, and it just get a game in, and all of a sudden, lag and then dump at the end of the round. And I thought, well, that's strange. Disconnect from the server.
Mm-hmm.
Retrying. And I'm like, huh. So I go on, isitdown.com, and start my investigation. And apparently, I started looking this up right when all this broke.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at, Blizzard shut down by massive DDoS attack, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my god. This is so lame.
Mm-hmm.
This is very inconvenient for my day. Now what am I going to do? I can't tell people what time it is.
Mm-hmm.
I literally, my day was shut down.
Yeah.
Basically, that is how boring my life is.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, again, we get back onto, responsibilities and everything else. It's
I had no responsibilities.
But what I'm saying is normally...
that day.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the few times
that
you
was
actually
my
can
time.
sit there and do nothing for hours. Yeah.
Oh, I was so mad, and it looks like they patched the hole, or they just stopped.
Yeah, this whole hackers attacking gamers makes no sense to me at all. It's like, aren't we from kind of the same, general,
you would think.
Granted, we're not hackers, but we enjoy, using the computer. We enjoy
what's
using,
funny
our consoles.
You can look up and archive the DDoS attack map, and it starts off years and years and years ago, where they've been tracking where all this traffic has been, doing these denial of service attacks. Yeah. And a number of years back, oh my god, massive amount of traffic shutting everything down.
Mm-hmm.
And as time has gone on and they patched up holes and updated things and fixed things, to today, there's just a couple streams coming out of China, a couple streams coming out of Russia.
Yeah.
And it's just all kind of getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So I'm like, well, is this the calm before the storm? What's going on? I don't like this.
I'm getting nervous.
This is not.
If I can't
good.
watch my YouTubes, I'm gonna be upset.
Oh man, what's funny is now I'm like, well,
if I can't listen to the NuB podcast, I'm gonna be really upset.
I'm gonna be upset. This is gonna ruin my day. I had no responsibilities this afternoon. I just wanted to listen to that podcast.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say it's getting ridiculous, because it's not like it's every day,
Yeah, it was the one time for me. I think
I guess it was really a minor inconvenience, and it makes me wonder. I wonder if these people got hired by
Battleborn.
Well,
Is this a conspiracy? Is this?
I was gonna say Pokemon Go.
Oh,
all these people damn it, I can't play Overwatch. I guess I'll have to go outside and catch Pokemon.
Nobody cares. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I got Battleborn for free because I had a gift card. So I paid $5 for it.
Yeah.
And I played it because the Overwatch beta, was done. Yeah. And then it wasn't getting released for a month. So I played Battleborn. And its coding was terrible. It ran like crap. But there were some maps that ran good. And my computer, it had no business running at 5 frames a second in some sections. It just, there's no reason for it. But they've since patched it, and it actually runs a little bit better, come to find out. But Battleborn, it's not Overwatch.
I bet you in the comments people will be like, oh yeah, well, what's your rig? Yeah,
Battleborn's better. What's your rig, you noob? You'll kill yourself. Oh. I can just see it. But it's just, I don't know. I just don't, it just doesn't have that refund. Is that an ice cream truck?
I think that's an ice cream truck.
There's literally never an ice cream truck in this neighborhood.
Oh my god, I hope it's a really creepy ice cream truck driver, too.
Oh, it probably is.
That's fantastic. There's one that comes around my neighborhood. Not to get off too far of a tangent
Still
here.
talking about Battleborn.
Yeah, we'll get back to Battleborn in 1 second. But there's one ice cream truck that drives around my neighborhood with the creepiest driver, and I swear to God, everything's all the painting on is faded. Everything's faded. The guy looks like a child molester. He's got the worst, most scraggly beard ever. He's got these big thick glasses. He's skinny. He's kind of creepy, hunches a little bit when he drives the truck, and he's like scanning the neighborhood when he goes through, and I'm like, every time the ice cream truck, comes by, I look my son dead in the eyes, and I'm like, no, we'll go to the Twisty Cone, or we'll go to the store.
Twisty Cone's badass.
We'll get you some ice cream there.
Is it weird that the second you started talking about that, this whole scene played in my mind where I bought an ice cream truck, I made up a costume to look like, not Pennywise, but a scary, awful, evil clown, much like Pennywise, and drive around as an ice cream truck and try to sell, like, that would be your shtick.
Yeah.
Like, you know how much money you would make?
None. Because nobody would want you near
Because you would be the creepy Pennywise clown,
and
though.
Nobody would want you near the kids. The only people they'll buy ice cream from you at that point in time are, like, hipsters.
Well, okay, so you go to the food truck
people are buying it ironically.
You go to the food trucks, you go to the conventions, like, that's your market.
Yeah, and maybe around Halloween.
Yeah, I suppose you really wouldn't make, that much money.
You're not going to be, like, rolling in the dough, traveling through somebody's neighborhood at 5 p.m. on a
You'll get
Monday.
Stopped by the police a lot in the Pennywise ice cream truck.
Yes.
How come? Sure. Here's my next question: how come no one's done that?
How do you know that? I'm sure that there's probably some idiot that has done that, and now they are spending a good portion of their time in jail or are on the sex offenders list. Like, now he has to go introduce himself every time he moves into a new neighborhood.
Hello, I dressed up as a clown and scared a bunch of children.
My name is Stanley.
For some reason, I'm a sex offender. Yeah. I don't know what I did.
I don't understand this.
That judge really was afraid of clowns. So, I think I was profiled.
So as you were saying,
Battleborn. I don't know. Is it possible that there was a Battleborn conspiracy? I have no evidence.
Maybe Battleborn and Pokemon Go got together. And,
team up.
Yeah, I'm saying. Like,
I'm surprised though, and I was really kind of wondering where this would go. If there would be a new rivalry of the games, because you can't have there's always going to be.
Did you say a new rivalry of the games?
Well, what I'm saying though is like, there really hasn't been one to my knowledge. I mean, you got Battlefield versus between Call of Duty.
Yeah, which has always kind of been a big thing.
Yeah, but it hasn't. From what I've seen, there just hasn't been a very vocal.
Well, there hasn't been like gang warfare in the streets or anything like that. Like,
that's what I want to see. I want to see people throwing their Nintendo boxes at the Sega kids.
Well, I haven't seen people pull knives on each other. Like, hey, what do you play? Oh, I play Battlefield.
Whoa,
you better check yourself. I'm a Call of Duty.
I'm gonna teabag you. No, I haven't seen. There hasn't been a vocalization of the opposition between the two.
Well, here's the thing. I think it comes back to again, like we're talking about. Like there's not really the war between Genesis and Nintendo kind of thing anymore. It's not really like a war between PlayStation and Xbox anymore, because a lot of times either people have both systems or multiple systems, or people buy like multiple games. Like there's not really a loyalty like that to games anymore, like there used to be. Like it's the first time that Overwatch starts to suck, the first time they come out with a patch that screws something up.
Well, that nerfs McCree. Yeah, and I hate them.
Then what's going to happen is, they're gonna see a drop in people buying the game and playing it. I mean, it's one of those things. It's we as a consumer now, we don't have the loyalties that we used to certain products, because these products are so competitive with each other. So we don't mind buying multiple products and playing them. I think it's a good thing personally. And if you make a crappy product now, then you will feel the repercussions for it.
War Z is an excellent example of that.
That's a good example of it, but it's a really good example of that? Final Fantasy. When Final Fantasy, I believe 13 was it, came out, and you couldn't even like do anything with your characters for the first like 25, 30 hours. Yeah. That game took a big hit, And now, in all the magazines I've read where they're talking about the next Final Fantasy game that's coming out, they're talking about how they're going to redeem themselves. They're going to, they're reinventing themselves. They're doing this and the other thing,
Is that the one with the princely kid and they're driving the Lincoln convertible?
Yeah, it's like supposed
fighting rhinos.
Something like that, yeah.
It looks interesting.
I mean, we'll see what happens. But what I'm saying is, now the consumer's voice, I guess, seems a bit stronger than it was before, because we've got so many good products that come out now when it comes to, nerd culture, when it comes to either video games, board games, everything. It seems to me like you've got to be on your game, and you're not going to get the loyalty that you would have had.
Well, they've proven that the AAA title no longer rules the market.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of indie developers that have And I mean, there's that double-edged sword. You know, the market can be flooded. Look at it's the Atari ET factor. You know, the market can be flooded with a ton of shit greenlit games, right? And yeah, that's okay. And then you get some studios that have come up like not CD Projekt, the fellows that made Killing Floor.
Yes.
You know, that started off as a mod.
Yeah. And
one of my favorite games to date, and the work they've done on Killing Floor 2 in gore technology is really really made it just great experience.
So what do you do, Tim? Well, I work in the gore factor.
You see here, once the flesh pound hits the player character, we want to make sure that the intestines really fly out in globules. So that's really what I'm trying to do here. And,
and it's the angle, actually. You know, I have to like bring in the the angle and then the trajectory. The
trajectory of the intestinal fluids that fly out. We really want to make sure that's accurate. So I've got my coworker here, Stanley. I'm just going to hit him with this sword. We're going to see what happens. That's terrible. But it's good, though. It's good that competitiveness is back in the market. But at that same time, everybody wants their gold star. Yeah. You have all these... the hell's the name of that thing where people go on and they say, give me money because I want this project done?
Oh, okay. You're talking like Kickstarter?
GoFundMe or Kickstarter. Yeah, okay. Kickstarter.
It's called Give Me Money.
Yeah. Oh my God, $1 million website, givememoney.com.
Yeah.
No, Kickstarter, where people get on there and like, we want to make this this furry fandom MMO meetup game, and everyone's just kind of looking like, no, I don't want to do that. But okay, you have fun.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Good luck with that. I'm not chastising furries. Don't hate on me.
Just so you guys know, Felton is not a big fan of the furries.
It's not. No.
I think I bring this up now.
Do what you want.
Please send all of your hate mail to.
You outed me as a furry hater. That's not fair. No, I don't hate furries. I just think that sometimes it's creepy.
Next he's gonna say he doesn't like bronies or
again. Sometimes it's creepy. Nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't like certain things that come up, like when they all want to cuddle in a pile. Yeah. I don't know how often that happens.
That's kind of a double entendre there. You don't like things that come up when they all cuddle in a pile.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. I just don't. That's not my thing. I'm not crapping on it. Hey, be happy. Do your thing.
Yeah, that's what it really comes down to. If you enjoy whatever your nerddom is, more power to you. Have fun with it.
I guess my overall main issue is, and again, this extends, I'm going to get hate mail from the Sonic crowd. The whole, here's my original character. His name is Peanuts the Hedgehog, and his ability is he can eat peanut butter really fast. I'm like, what, huh?
Well, wait a minute now. What? Actually, I think you're onto something. Let me write this idea down. Hold on.
You gotta go to SonicCreator.com.
Next Sonic game.
But this falls into my whole issue with everybody wanting a gold star. And I've been there. I've had like, oh man, this character is such a cool idea, and I thought everybody should know about it.
Absolutely.
But it's like, no, I'm not special. Neither is Peanuts the Hedgehog. Hedgehog. Oh, that's his. Yeah, he's a hedgehog.
Well, that's his convention name. That's his late night.
Peanuts the Hedgehog. But everybody thinks they should get their gold star for their original great idea, but then they don't want to. Come up with an original idea. I mean. Sonic the Hedgehog has been done. You're not going to make an original character that's going to garner anything, Yeah. Use your... And some of these people, and this is my point, they draw these amazing artworks of these original characters. And I'm like, what are you doing? Make your own. Like,
I understand that. I do. But at the same time, I mean, it really comes down to, again, like, if you're having a really good time, creating characters from something that you really love.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I mean, I used to love to like make my own like Final Fantasy characters that like, took place in like Final Fantasy VII or that kind of stuff. And that's why today I enjoy being a dungeon master or game master.
Because that's what you get to do.
I get to just create characters like in a world that already kind of pretty much exists. I mean, it's my own interpretation of that world. And I get to make my characters based on how I want.
And there's something absolutely fun to that. Yeah. There is, and I'm not saying that's not fun.
I also know where you're coming from on the other end because as a an aspiring writer someday, like it is difficult, but it's much more rewarding when you come up with original ideas. You come up with something that hasn't been seen.
And there's that oxymoron there, because I'm crapping on him for coming up with an original character, but it's in a pre-existing universe with a writing group, pre-existing shows, publication. Everything's already been done and laid out. You're just piggybacking off of that, and these people have talent, and that's where I find it heartbreaking, because some of these folks, they're kind of socially awkward that I've seen. And I don't like, I'll say it right now, I don't like the website where people were uploading their fan fictions and then people were making fun of the fan fictions. I didn't like that. That wasn't funny to me. And there's like this whole cringe humor that you could go off and discuss. But it's like, that to me, that's mean. You're just being mean. That's horrible. That's not nice.
Somebody took the time, they sat down, and they came up
and they wrote their Harry Potter fiction about,
whatever, about Ron and Harry's
Ron and
relationship.
Harry, and they're shipping that, to China. But it's like, hey, you know what? That's somebody's baby. That's their...
Well, not only that, but it's their outlet. Like you cosplay. Like you put on costumes of characters that already exist, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. I'm a hypocrite.
And sometimes I'm not calling you out, but I mean, if you're
but I
am. But like your interpretation of your Inspector Gadget that you do, has like a real, blade, weapon, instead of, just like, the goofy, extending hand and stuff like
matchsticks and bubble blowers.
So, that's your interpretation of a character that already exists.
Oh, but I totally stole that off of somebody's fan art.
Oh, there you go. See?
So, I mean, I'm the worst.
Oh, you are the worst hypocrite then.
I am what I hate.
So there is some originality and creativity and stuff in there too. So I see both edges of that sword. But you are right. Like, if you are out there, listening to this podcast, and you are a creative person of any kind, you like to write, you like to draw, you like to do anything, instead of just like piggybacking off of something that you love like that, it would be good to start coming up with original ideas. Maybe work towards like getting something published.
And you know what it is? I absolutely don't have the courage to put myself out there with an original idea,
and a lot of people don't.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying now. As a 36-year-old man, because life's almost over.
You're halfway. You're like, oh shit.
If you have a dream, if you have an idea, put some work into it. Like sit down and really flesh it out. And show it to people. See what people think. Maybe worst case scenario is somebody doesn't like what you did. And they call you on it. I mean, it's just words. It's just thoughts. I know it's hard to put yourself out there like that, but think of all these people who who were nothing. Before, and then they put themselves out there.
Oh, J.K. Rowling.
That's just what I was going to say. Stephen King is the same way. Stephen King was nothing, and
fantastically pleasant man.
Yeah.
I was friends with his nephew.
Oh, okay.
In school.
Oh, and hold on. Now, this is a story. Okay, so you were friends with Stephen King's nephew in school. Okay.
Absolutely cool dude. I saw him around town at like basketball games and stuff. But I went to EMT academy thing up north. And one day he comes in to class with a brand new. Now this really dates me. Yeah. It was an Air book. Mm-hmm. Okay, you remember when Mac came out with that Air book? Yes. I had gotten over my Apple, hate at that point. Yeah, kind of.
Finally.
Yeah, and so he comes in with this like $3,000-$4,000 laptop, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, how the hell did you get that? Oh, my uncle bought it for me. And I'm like, you son of a bitch! like all the time with him, and let me tell you, fantastic guy, like he really was,
But what I'm saying is, he was nothing before he put himself out there and got published.
And apparently put his horrid dreams and thoughts into stories.
But that's okay.
And I can relate to that. I don't know if it's a disorder, but I have nightmares like every single night, every single night without fail. Mm-hmm. And multiple times I've thought I should write that down. Yeah. And just the other night I was telling my girlfriend, I'm going to make a horror game out of this, because not only was there a gameplay mechanic, there was slightly a backstory, and just the whole atmosphere of what was happening in my dream was also just creepy as all hell. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is great. I gotta remember this. And I always remember these so vividly for weeks and months, and some have stuck with me even for years.
Oh, wow.
It's almost as if like the experience in the dream was so horrible, my mind indexed that as, hey, remember this Because if you see it again, you need to run like hell.
So if you're listening to this and you have a horrible life like Felton does, where you just are plagued with nightmares every single night of your life,
you can't sleep. You wake up multiple times.
You wake up in cold sweats.
Oh, let me tell you, my Fitbit.
You should put this together and really work on it. Like I'm not. I mean, this isn't like a. This isn't like a motivation or PSA podcast, but I'm just saying like just get off your ass. No,
my Fitbit red lines like 5, 6, 7 times a night
while you're sleeping.
When I wake up, and the red line on it is you look at the app and the output tells you when you wake up.
Yeah,
and I'll just like, yep, that seems about right.
Your mind hates you is what you're saying.
Yeah, so I start taking melatonin, and that knocks me out, and I don't dream.
Nice.
So, but I get really groggy.
And as you see, we got cool sound effects in our podcast.
Yeah, the snap. Yeah, that was cool.
All right, so that's just fantastic. So if your life sucks, just write about it.
Yeah, write it down.
Make it into a game.
Make a book or game out of your nightmares, like I'm gonna do.
Well, I think we pretty much talked about everything there is to talk about at this time.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening to the NuB Nerds United and Brevard podcast. I've been Merce.
This is Felton Hot Glue.
Felton Hot Glue. Just sounds like a porn star name.
It's growing on me, but it's
see,
that you brought that up.
There,
I'm getting a little
growing on you.
Oh, Lord.
And we will catch you on the next podcast.